G'day you mob, how's it going? Welcome to this episode of Pete vs. Plants. Today I am going to pot up two of these variegated Monstera Laniatas. So I unboxed these yesterday alongside this beautiful plant. So you can go and check that video up. My God, it's getting late. You can go and check that video out. I will link it above, up above. What I thought originally, there were two things that I thought. One, I thought that this was a single plant, and this beautiful human who sold me this has given me two plants. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate that if you're watching. And two, I thought that this one was reverting, but I have a feeling this one is very high variegation. And this one looks like it is just slightly lower. You can see a bit of variegation down here. There's a bit over here, and a little bit on this leaf too. So I think it's going to be really interesting to pot these two up and see how they go if we grow them out. I'm not sure whether or not this sort of variegation is stable, what the deal is. I imagine it probably isn't. But yeah, because we have two plants like this, and because when I look at the roots here, it looks to me like they have been in hydro. There was leca on this one. This one I'm not sure, but it definitely looks like it has hydro roots. So I think what we're going to do is chuck them in pon. What do you guys reckon? Good idea? I also mentioned in yesterday's video that I had been lashing out on some different vessels from places like Kmart, the supermarket, and I think I got these ones from Amazon. And so I think these are going to be perfect to try for these guys to put them in the pon. I think it's going to be pretty simple. Now, where is my pon from the other day? It's up here somewhere. All right, so I have pre-rinsed this pon. I did it in a video. Again, I will link it above. This was where I was using it for the very first time. So I have a whole batch here that will probably be a little dehydrated. Yeah, in fact, it's very dry. So I imagine it dries out pretty quickly, but when I chuck it in here for the plants, I will put in some nutrient solution and just have to keep an eye on the level of the nutrient solution, because I think if you put pon that is dry into a vessel, it's going to wick up a bunch of that nutrients, and as a result, the reservoir is going to drop down within the first day or so. So I think obviously we will use, the smaller vessel for the small one. I might actually use two vessels of this size, just so the roots have got a little more space. And also, as a result, they're going to have the plants closer to the lights. So I guess I will cup a reservoir worth of pon into the bottom of each of these pots, containers. Assume that's probably a decent amount. Probably do a little bit more in each. Again, you guys let me know if I am doing anything very careless or silly here. So that's going to be number one, and I guess I will just hold this guy probably about here and just backfill. And the pon goes everywhere. Now I think something that I'm wondering, I was thinking about this the other day, when you chuck things in hydro, I wonder how gentle you really need to make sure that you are with the roots. You know what? I'm actually just changed my mind. So I'm going to pour a bit of this out. And what I'm going to do is gently pull this plant out and make sure that the roots are actually up against the side so that I can see the health of the roots and keep an eye on them, because if they're kind of in the middle, I'm not going to know how well the plant is doing. So I think it's one of those things, you just have to make sure that there are roots that are going to be visible against the side of the container. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, I think root rot, I wonder how frequently we suffer from this in things like semi-hydro or in pots and other media, because you aren't gentle enough with the roots when you put them into these kinds of substrates, and as a result the roots get a little bit damaged, and that's what allows the fungus or the bacteria or the viruses to enter the root and start the root rot process. I don't know, you guys will have to let me know what you think, but I was reading up on root rot the other night, and it was saying that quite often it's damage to the roots that allows the what would you say, the pathogen to enter and start the rotting process. So hopefully you can see here I have put one of these roots at least up against the side of the container. So this is going to allow me to see the health of the roots and hopefully monitor it. And this is, yeah, the first one here, this highly variegated mint. Beauty. Bloody whipper. All right. On to the second one. Look at these roots, looking good. Looking lush. I think this one's going to go off like a frog in a sock, guys. This one's going to have no problems. And I should have no issues getting roots up against the side of the container as well. Okay, so I'm going to hold it down about here and just backfill. Gently, gently, gently to try and avoid damaging the roots. But yeah, I wonder how sensitive they are. Is it like that they get the smallest nick and that can let a pathogen in, or are they usually pretty robust? Fill this in a bit more as there are a few aerial roots here right at the top. Okay. So I'm interested to see how I go with ponds. Ponds, I've heard both used. But yeah, one thing that I do like is it's pretty heavy. So I feel like this is pretty stable. It's not going to, you know, fall over or have a crap time of it. I think it'll be precarious. So again, we've got some nice roots on the side here that I can keep an eye on. So here are the two plants. I'll grab some nutrient solution and we will finish up. Here is one that I prepared earlier. Okay, so I am just going to try and find that spot where the roots were up to and probably fill in slightly above where the roots are, because I think, well, you know what, I'll do it just to where the roots are, but I have a feeling that this pond is going to wick up a bunch of the liquid here over the next 24 hours. So, go, go, go. Go, go, go. All right, sweet. So hopefully you guys can see, here is the root and the reservoir is along this sort of line here. It's all down here. I imagine it's going to drop a little bit. I guess we'll see. Place your bets, place your bets. Okay, same thing here. Where are we? Going to keep an eye on those roots. Glog, 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 glog. Up you come, up you come, up you come. A bit more. I think a little bit more. I think that's perfect. Same thing there. Roots are here and the reservoir comes up to this spot here. So I'm not sure what else to say, guys. Hopefully these do really well. Again, as I always say, leave me a comment below if you guys have any advice, if you've seen me do anything incredibly dumb on camera. I have no shame. I am well and truly open to hearing what you guys have to say, and quite often you guys have amazing advice and amazing comments that I really appreciate, and I don't often notice some of the things you point out. Besides that, be sure to go and check out this video, and I'll see you next time.